Hey there, folks. Welcome into Extra Time. Alongside Chaka Hislop, Stuart Robson, I'm Sebastian Salazar. Great to be with you on this Sunday. And we have some questions that you have sent in. How about this one to start, Chaka?
Okay.
Now that all of the major tournaments, club and country, are over, who do you think has been the most consistent player or the best player of the past season?
Still Virgil van Dijk.
Still? Okay. The summer didn't move you?
No.
Would Van Dijk have been your choice before the summer season?
Mm-hmm.
I would go along with Virgil van Dijk. I wasn't a great fan of his a couple of years ago, but he's played brilliantly for Liverpool. He's been consistent for the Dutch national team, along with one or two other players that have come to the fore with the Dutch national team in the last year or so. They went from being way down there to somewhere near up there, and Liverpool have been the same. And it's mainly because Virgil van Dijk has had a season and a half where he's been brilliant for Liverpool.
For all we talk about kind of defending being bad nowadays, interesting that Van Dijk would be the pick. Maybe that's why, because he stands out. Next question, where is Bale going? I should mention here, AS has reported that basically because of wages, like...
Who have said?
AS.
AS, okay.
AS. What would you like me to...
No, I didn't hear what you said. I was just wondering who that was.
Yeah, it's basically like, you know, the only place he can go because of wages is China. What would you think of Gareth Bale?
In China?
Yeah. At 30.
I think it'd be the wrong move for him. I think he would be going for the money rather than for going to extend his career and be thought of as a great player. Because it was only 2 or 3 years ago when he was playing for Wales at the European Championships and almost beating teams single-handedly, we thought he was the world-class player. Nobody really thinks that about him now. He's got to go somewhere, and it's going to be for less money, play week in, week out, and prove once again he can be a top-class player.
As much as, listen, I agree with Stuart fully. A move to China would be for the money, but then staying at Madrid, as he's done so far, has been for the money. So I wouldn't put that past him either. I still feel, and as I mentioned during the show, that PSG might be the best fit for a number of reasons. One, I'm still kind of convinced that Neymar would prefer to go to Madrid than Barcelona. That's just me. And maybe it suits Bale similarly.
Do you think he can be a world-class player again, Gareth Bale?
I don't think he can be the player he once was. No.
Because of injuries, or he's just lost his appetite, whatever it may be.
Because of injuries. And listen, once you cross 30, you know, things start to go down a little bit slowly, albeit. But maybe in France, given the disparity between PSG and everybody else, he doesn't have to exert himself the way that he did in Spain, and certainly won't have to if he returns to England. I think that makes sense.
More on Bale in our next question. Does Gareth Bale plus cash for Neymar, which also has been reported, make sense for either PSG or Real Madrid? From the Madrid perspective, Neymar and Eden Hazard?
I wouldn't have Neymar anywhere near my club, I'm afraid. I'm not a Neymar fan. I think it would be danger signals for Zidane and the rest of the team. Not good for Real Madrid if they go and get Neymar. And it would be good if they could get rid of Gareth Bale, because he's obviously a problem for them, or a problem for Zidane. So it'd be good if he went to PSG, but not good the other way around.
You think those two could work together?
Yeah,
Neymar, Hazard?
Listen, I think good players can work together. And I think both of them fantastic players. But again, my concern with Neymar is he has to buy into what you're doing.
Will he ever buy into what anybody's ever doing?
And that's the trouble. He has to realize that it's not all about him. Because certainly ever since he left Barcelona, everything he's done is all about him. You can convince him of that. You can get the best out of him again. World-class talent, no question. Good players play well together.
All right, next question feels like it's aimed at me. How do you like being owned by... Oh, I get it. How do you like being owned by Zlatan?
What are they trying to say?
What do you mean owned by Zlatan? What do you mean owned? What does that mean?
Look at your Twitter handle, Salazar's Temper. Oh, yeah. You've got... Your reputation precedes you,
Sebastian. Burley's beard, Ali's left foot.
Yeah, reputation precedes you.
You're a bit fearful of Zlatan, aren't you?
Well, I mean, he's a pretty imposing guy. And I'm not a very imposing guy.
You got the gift of the gab. You can outspeak him, couldn't you?
No. There are a few people that I can't out-talk, but he's probably one of them, you know. He's got that quick wit, and whatever he says, it has so much weight, you know?
He's intense.
He's intense, and more when he's walking off
Have you not seen him when he's angry? He can be intense.
Yeah, but Sebi is small man intense.
I think as Carlos Vela...
Small man intense is not really, you know.
He can be that little...
Easy small man. I'm taller than Dan Thomas. I'm not a Chihuahua now? What are you doing over there with that?
I was going to say Jack Russell, personally.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
You know?
Just great times here on the show. That's how I sound. That's what I sound like to you.
I could see him being a little Jack Russell.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
my God.
But Jack Russellson cause a lot of damage to bigger people, bigger dogs.
Oh.
So that's
By
what
tripping
he
him
should be
up?
doing.
Well, by tripping him up?
Right. So I've now been advised to assault Zlatan here by my Good. You have my best interest in
Jack
mind.
Russell. Watching Zlatan, we send our local Jack Russell after you.
You'd certainly make the news, wouldn't you, if you had to go at Zlatan?
Yeah, you know, that's one way to get in the highlights, headlines. Here's another question. Which league in England is, again, kind of down the Zlatan route, is MLS most comparable to an overall talent? The options given here, Championship, League One, or League Two. Stuart?
It's a difficult league to judge because you've got some players that could still play possibly in the Premier League, and you've got other players that would struggle to get into the League Two, probably. So I'd go somewhere in between. It's not as good as the Championship overall. It's about the level of most of the teams would be high up in League One.
Really?
In League One.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I would have said probably the top teams in MLS, bottom half of the Championship. And I think one of the reasons for that is certainly within MLS, within the same dressing room, there's a far greater disparity between the very good players in that dressing room to the poor players in that same dressing room. I think as much as you have a similar dynamic in football anywhere, it's not as pronounced in the European professional leagues.
Very well. Final question then. Is Aaron Wan-Bissaka a reliable signing for Manchester United, or has he yet to prove himself? Stuart?
He is athletic. He's hard to beat in 1v1 situations. He's decent going forward. I'm not sure about his positional play. I haven't seen quite enough of him at Crystal Palace to say that he's the outstanding positional player. But I think he's going to be a good signing for Manchester United over the next few years. Although we thought that about Luke Shaw, didn't we, when he went there? He was going to be...
He's been all right. He was unlucky with his injury.
He's unlucky with it, but he had the wrong manager at Liv Mourinho,
yeah.
who didn't fancy him. I think Wan-Bissaka will be a good player for Manchester United.
What about Harry Maguire to Manchester United?
Harry Maguire is the best football playing centre-half there is in Britain at the moment. He's the one player that can step out with the ball. I'd like to have seen him gone to Man City and John Stones being left out because John Stones isn't good at coming out with it. Whatever anybody says, John Stones isn't as good as Harry Maguire on the ball. Manchester United, I still think that would be a good signing for Manchester United. Harry Maguire's a good player.
John Stones and Zlatan on the list of people he hates then.
Oh.
There's one Ferrari, one Fiat without question now.
All right, we've got one last question. I'm told
more questions.
It's not, though, on my sheet. Loknath wants to know Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings?
There is only one choice there. One choice.
I agree with you there.
But I'm not sure we're going to agree on the same thing.
Where you going?
I would still watch back-to-back Harry Potter.
Wrong. That's the wrong answer.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord
what
of
a
the
load
Rings.
of old rubbish. I tried to watch two of those. I fell asleep. Absolute top.
I always suspected you didn't know what you were talking about, and that just confirmed it. Lord of the Rings, all day,
The reason
every day.
the reason I like Harry Potter because I went to a similar sort of school to Harry Potter. Not the Wizard League.
Oh, I
but
was
the
about
castle.
to say. Yeah. You wear a funny hat?
Yep.
Yeah, right.
Stuart, how about another question? Lord of the Rings or Pulp Fiction?
No, Pulp Fiction. Don't get that one either. Sorry.
Yep.
Any more?
I rest my case. Your Honor, the defense rests.
Well, that seems like a good place then to wrap up extra time since the defense is rested.
The defense, yeah.
Shaka, no rest tomorrow. You and I will be back.
Well, you know, some of us work
And I
hard.
won't be on holiday,
Some of us
Shaka.
work very hard around here.
Brian
While
McBride,
100 degrees
joins us
heat in
as well.
Washington.
while others swan off, taking it easy. Where are you going to be, Robbo?
Washington.
Okay.
Hot there, apparently.
It's hot everywhere.